My name is Nat Blackheaven, and I want to shed a little light on what makes social media so social. But most importantly, why it has grabbed the attention of so many of our young people. It's a phenomenon that shows no signs of slowing down. But as well as its many positives, it also comes with a lot of negatives. There has been a lot of research conducted into why there is an outburst of social media use amongst young people. So I wanted to talk to a few people that live it, work it, and embrace it. Part 1 of Why So Social looks at young people's need to be connected while not feeling left out, as well as giving a little insight into depression and anxiety and how social media plays a part. There have been many studies on the relationship between social media use and the correlation with anxiety and depression, especially amongst young people. With the analysis of a 2017 study produced by the Royal Society of Public Health, together with talking to a few young people, I attempt to further understand the need of young people to be on these platforms, even when they know it could be potentially doing them harm. Dom McGregor is the co-founder of a social media agency in Manchester that have over 300 million active social media followers across Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's safe to say that Dom knows a lot about social media and people's habits using it.
Why are young people so dependent on social media? I think it's a couple of reasons really. Firstly, they use social media to seek gratification. So in the form of likes on their pictures, in the form of comments, and basically showing their life off to other people, creating a perception of themselves which they want people to see. In terms of their personal profiles, but then in terms of the wider usage, mainly I think down to like entertainment. So they use social for the way older people used to watch TV. So now it's a case of on your phone you've got, on Facebook, YouTube, you've got video content that you can sit there all day and consume. We've all had evenings where we just spent 3 hours on Facebook and then we think, where the hell's time gone? So a combination of, for themselves, in terms of seeking the rewards and the gratification from their content, but also to consume content for entertainment purposes.
The RSPH report found a number of revelations, some including statements such as social media has been described as more addictive than cigarettes and alcohol, and that social media use is linked with increased rates of anxiety and depression. Of course, many of these aren't exactly shocking, but there is growing evidence and a very clear link that a large amount of the nearly 80,000 young people in the UK suffering from depression are due to social media use.
I think in 2011, when Instagram was launched, if you look on the Google Trends for the searches for anxiety, the searches have increased by about 500%. And that's, yes, because a lot of education around mental health, but Instagram, young girls specifically, have been, back to the personal use, is that people want to portray a life that they see. And that's across the board, that's not just young people, that's older people. So the young people who are consuming social media, of people who are trying to portray the perfect life, they're sat in a situation where they're like 16, 17 thinking, why is my life not like that? Right. And that leads to the negative, like, what am I doing wrong in myself? Why am I not this person? Why do I not have this amazing body? Why am I not always on holiday? Why do I not have that fancy car? And there's a famous saying, like, reality is everyone stood in the mirror naked. But what it means is, like, you put your best clothes on when you go out, and that's what social media is, you put your best foot forward. But reality is, like, everyone's stood in the mirror naked looking at themselves like, what the hell's going on here? And that's what's causing issues with young people.
A large part of social media is your image. Young people are all about the likes. But who are the people with the likes? These people. These are the social media role models. And when you don't look like this, it's an issue. An issue that spirals into negativity and pain. But how do you counter this? Well, you counter with likes. The highs that come with likes are so strong that it continues to pull people towards these platforms, causing people to try so hard to be the social media role models they view day in and day out. But not everybody can be like this or even look like this.
Cocaine has a negative effect, but that has highs. And sometimes when the highs are so strong, it pulls you towards it. And it's almost like when the highs are so much more instant, and the negatives are much more long term, that it's not until you realise and learn about yourself that you realise that it's having a negative effect. And again, like, people say is the positives are huge. So it's like, oh my God, look at this picture, it got like 200 likes. But reality is they're always benchmarking themselves to other people. And then over the long term, that has a bit of an impact on them and their self-confidence. So people rush back to it. But then also people rush back to it because of, it's got great content there as well. So people can sit there and watch funny videos, which, don't have any effect, it's entertainment. And it's kind of habit as well. So you sit there, watch YouTube, you close your app, you open another app, and then you close that, then you open another one. Everyone's got that same morning routine. It's like wake up, and they probably go, I know I do, go through the same process of checking WhatsApp, checking Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, then getting out of bed. So like habits are really hard to break. So a combination of great highs, being there because there's great content and entertainment, then also just not being able to get out of a habit.
After my chat with Dom and listening to what he had to say about social media use, I went to go and meet Keris Ali, a 28-year-old young person that had typically different views on social media and conforming to a social norm. I travelled to London to talk to Keris about her thoughts on social media and why she thinks it's gone a little too far.
I don't think it's necessary to like my life, or anyone else's life for that matter, to have social media. Like I feel very, I think I'm a little bit bitter. Like I find it very difficult to understand why a person would constantly want to upload things to a huge online forum and not just live in the moment and see it for themselves and make memories in here, instead of like putting it on like who have you got to impress? For me, I find it awkward that women do this. They're constantly doing this like all the time with a filter, and I'm like, how do you have so much gusto to do that? Like I find it so awkward and so cringe.
Is there a sense of like a self flaunting and gloating going on here? Like I feel like
maybe a little bit
want to show off to their friends. That's probably why they do it. To me, I'm seeing a lot of that going on.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm wondering why, because you're showing that to your friends, but yet you want to show off to your friends and make them feel down about themselves. Do you see that happening on social media?
What, people like gloating to me going, oh look what I've done?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like when you get in a new relationship and you post it all over Facebook and you post all these pictures of you and your new boyfriend, and it's like, oh, they look so happy. Look how happy they look. They're gloating at their perfect relationship.
You say there's nothing wrong with that, but
there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not real. It's not real though for me. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that for them, but for me personally,
wouldn't something not real be wrong?
I would just rather it be real. If I had a choice between the two things, and I wanted to live in a space in my head or in my like little bubble, I'd much rather have a real relationship with that person and know that it's good between him and I than say to him, oh look, we've got to show our friends that we went to the zoo today, look how perfect we are as a couple. Let's take a photo, post it all over the internet so other people can see how happy we are. I just think I'd much rather want that to just be for us.
Pause. Sorry to interrupt you guys, but I actually did a vlog on this subject, and this is the perfect opportunity to get a bit of FaceTime as well. Go. Think to yourself, is it healthy to have a relationship through a screen where everybody can see it, where you don't keep many things private? I mean, at the end of the day, you don't keep many, you might keep some things private, you might get a little jiggy in the bedroom, okay, you might keep that private, but you don't keep many other things private. Now, why would you want your whole audience to see your life in that facet? Think about that for a second. Okay, now back to the documentary.
When people say, oh my god, have you seen like Charlene and her new boyfriend? Don't they look happy? I'm like, well, yeah, they look happy. They look happy, but the realistic thing is that, are they though? Normally the people who put millions of photos on the internet of their relationship normally aren't that happy. And nothing wrong with it, I can't do anything about it, but personally in my life, I wouldn't choose to do it. Just
one more thing from me to say about this. How is your relationship behind the screens? I'm not saying it's any different, it's just a question that I'm pondering. With people that are doing this, do they have that steady relationship? I like to think that the more you keep private in the relationship, that the more it's intimate, the more you can really love someone for who they are, the more you can really appreciate someone for who they are, the more you keep that away from people and in a tight-knit circle so that poisonous people don't get through and try to damage things, the better. And that was your insights in Chill with Black Heezy.
Maybe like if I was 14 now or like 12 now, and like you said earlier, we were talking about you know, brand management of people like sending free freebies over to kids and going, oh, do you want to try this new tooth whitening? Here I am with my new like hair growth serum. I'm going to put the little thing in my mouth like this. Here's this tooth. Like, fair enough if that's what you're growing up to see as like an, you know, a positive role model-esque like thing to do, or a cool thing to do to like bump you up in your friend category at Muffy Day where you have to wear the coolest outfit. Like, if that's your thing at 14, then fair enough. But when I was 14, I wasn't doing that, and I just can't get my head around it. I just can't.
Why do you think it does actually cause depression amongst young girls from what they're looking at on these platforms and who they're viewing and what they're seeing?
I just everything about it. It's like, you know, they're not looking in Cosmopolitan magazine anymore and looking at the fitness models and that anymore. The access is just so, it's so much it's easier for people to just access like the perfect body or the perfect hairstyle, the perfect nail colour. Like, a lot of the time, especially with these fitness models who are just taking pictures of themselves, it's edited. It's completely edited. You can see the blurry line in the background. These bodies aren't even real, and these poor girls are just thinking to themselves, oh, you know, it's like the Barbie phase that we had. Remember when all the girls just think they wanted to look like Barbie, and they made a fat Barbie so that all the people who were a little bit bigger didn't have to feel bad about looking like Barbie. It's like that, but on like crack. It's like that, but accentuated a million times. And the kids are just like, maybe it's just girls especially, they just, I think women just like to feel a bit of, like to beat themselves up about, you know, even me earlier, I was like, oh my god, I got a spot here. Do I look okay on camera? My double chin. Women always like to point out their flaws and think about their flaws and how to correct them. And I think Instagram's a great way to do that. Oh yeah, I'm just going to model myself on the most perfect edited version of anyone I possibly can, and strive and make that my life to look like that person. It's going to make anyone depressed.
The world of fake Instagram. A lot of people compare themselves to fake and edited images of celebrities, but in April of 2018, The Insider did a very good job of pointing this out. Insider journalist Jacob Shamsham points out the not so obvious turned obvious photoshopped images that have made these celebrities look, well, a little unordinary. How about this from Lindsay Lohan? Or this from Kylie Jenner? Or even this from Beyonce? Laughable, right? But yet they're not so obvious unless pointed out. And this is a problem when young people are comparing themselves to this, because it's not real.
Like, if all your friends are doing it, if you can't beat them, join them. And like, I guess maybe the younger like generation don't have, I mean, if you're like a goth nowadays, like you're someone a little bit alternative, someone who does something else, listens to different sorts of music, you get segregated and put in a group or get bullied. Maybe it's even to do with that, you know, they think, if I don't have so many followers on Instagram and don't like this many photos and join that kind of feed and hashtag this and whatever, then I'm going to lose friends over it, or I'm not going to be part of the group that I want to be in at school. You know, it's literally got down to that, you know, having friends and being socially accepted, I think, you know. And if you're not, like a little bit like me, my friends laugh at me sometimes. Paris, why are you like that? Why would you let me post a photo of you? Like, why are you always hiding behind your wine glass? And you know, I'm like the weirdo. I'm like that weirdo. And I think I'm old enough now to take it. But imagine if I was 14 years old. I don't think I would feel like this. I'd probably be like, oh, right, I better like pose my wine glass like this with my hair to the side. Like, that's the thing to do, because if I don't, then all my friends are gonna think I'm a weirdo, and that's probably why they do it, I think.
After speaking with Keris, I wanted to get the perspective of even younger people on this subject. I invited Anthony and Joshua, yes, AJ, to come and speak with me. Being two 16 and 17-year-old students who both describe themselves as social media addicts, I wanted to hear exactly what social media meant to them in this day and age, and their thoughts on some of the topics that have been discussed. Wait, Anthony, talk to me about Instagram. Tell why do you use that platform so much?
Because, and it sounds a bit weird, but I kind of like to not look at other people's lives, but see what's going on, because on the outside world, because I don't see these type of people every day, you know, but see what they're posting, see what they're doing, see what funny videos, like most of the things I'm following is mostly either celebrities or funny pages, and that's what I mostly use Instagram for. If you post, for example, if I post a bad picture and I think it looks alright, someone else is going to think it's a bad picture, then they just end up like really taking the mick about it. And then I don't know what they're thinking all that time. They're reposting it, sending it to their friends, laughing, and then somehow it ends up as cyberbullying. You know, if I didn't have social media, I don't think Like, I would walk on the street and no one know who I am. But at the same time, if you was on social media and you decide to post a pic and then people thought it's bad, like, realistically, like, who are you to judge me? Like, I can do whatever I want. I can post whatever I want. Yeah, maybe it may look bad to you, but it's good to me, and it depends. It depends whether you care about someone's opinion or not, and most people do nowadays. I think that's what they take about too much. I mean, it's all good and well being online, but yeah, fair enough that no one told you to be online, but then you're kind of disconnected from everyone. Like, everyone's online, so it's like a wave. Like, everyone has to ride. Not necessarily you have to ride it, but it's a thing, it's a trend.
Josh, yeah, just interesting about what you said before about, you know, not being on social media. You feel like you won't necessarily be seen, no one will know who you are.
Mm.
Why is that important?
Because, well, me personally, I don't know about everyone else, but me, I like it when people know me, because I feel like, I know it could potentially be a bad thing, but I like it in the sense where if I can go somewhere and then people be like, yo, Josh, or whatever. But I don't like, for example, I don't like going to parties by myself, because sometimes I might not know the people there. I like going to parties with my friends or going somewhere out, but because I don't necessarily like not knowing people, or people not knowing who I am, because I feel like I'm someone that deserves to be known.
Feeling left out, the problem that a lot of young people face when they're disconnected from social media. Forget about your image, another big issue is simply just being away. Read this. Yes, disconnect is real, and in a world that is totally connected in every facet of life, the idea of not being connected is simply not acceptable. Nobody ever wants to be the last person to know, ever. It's not the law to be online, you don't have to be online. So the question I pose to you is people that are in that age group where it's happening. What do you guys say about that?
I think the statement that you don't have to be online, in a sense, is flawed, because when you think about how everyone is online and humans by nature want to be involved with other people, to present that exclusivity to yourself in terms of removing yourself from society, it's not an easy thing to do. I understand why people can't remove themselves from social media. It's not an addiction. It's more the feeling of being left out. And no matter how comfortable you are within yourself, everybody wants to be a part of something bigger.
To be part of something bigger. And that's mainly what it's come down to these days. Everybody wants to be part of the action and nobody wants to be left behind. Consequently, many young people will think, this isn't what my life is like, opening the doors to more cases of severe depression and anxiety. As social media adapts, we'll find new ways to follow the lives of our favourite celebrities, look at the cool and exciting stuff our friends are doing, and even compare ourselves to supermodels. And this will continue happening. In a world where nobody wants to get left behind, how do we help our young people cope?